Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm, and we also do pro wrestling related stuff, which is where we are now. Pro Wrestling Logic, where we have over 2,400 audios on a variety of shows, modern day, and also stuff from the last, I think we go back to the 70s, probably within the last 50 years. Anyway, this is the WCW Saturday night, which actually ended up being Sunday night edition for in the 19th slash 20th of December 1991. This aired on special Sunday airing prior to the main event, hosted by Jim Ross, included promo from the Sexist Wrestler contest featuring footage of Paulie Dangerously in the gym making sexist comments about Missy Hyatt and claiming he would send her to where she belongs and put the spotlight back on the males who deserve it, including Dangerously conducting an interview with Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin, who stated that they would be watching the eight-man tag main event tonight and that um, Tim Horner and Brad Armstrong couldn't hang with them in the ring. Featured comments from Sting, who claimed that his team would it shake up the Four Horsemen tonight, including comments from the world champion Ric Flair on the Horsemen facing Sting, Brian Pillman, and the Steiner brothers in the main event? Also, WCW TV champion Tom Zink pinning Master Blaster Blade 402 with a missile dropkick after the match. Bobby Eaton attacked Zink from behind and hit the Alabama Jam. At this point, Bobby Eaton still a heel, although his heel days are kind of coming to a close here in early 1991. Certainly a worthwhile thing there. Again, basic stuff. Uh, um, you know, that is um, that is something that is there, and ultimately balancing uh, the nature of things. Of course, Zink as TV champion, still a decent run there, and kind of balancing things out in a meaningful way. Um, there are things that come forward there in a meaningful directive, and certainly are uh, beneficial there, and kind of move forward in a meaningful and directed fashion. Zinc, arm drags, arm bars, basic stuff. Nothing necessarily worth writing home about. The missile drop kick does get him a victory, which TV champion needs a bit. And a pretty basic maneuver. Again, this is an abridged version, 46 minutes in total. Zink as TV champion still around here. Zink at the time kind of still treated like a pretty big deal, also coming off his run with um, Brian Pillman as the U.S. Tag Champs, I believe. I know they did Tag Champs in 1990 for a little while. Anyway, some arm bars, arm ringers, and the like basic maneuvers along the way. Zink stays on the arm for a good bit of time. Bobby Eaton attacking Tom Zink from behind after the match kind of sets up their battle over the U.S. Championship. The Sexiest Wrestler contest, as mentioned before, is kind of talked about, and they are getting people to write in about that. Michael Wall Street up next in a scenario there, and it's it is kind of there in a meaningful directive, and he is obviously in a squash match as I think one of the first members of the York Foundation. That doesn't last very long, as he's gone later in 1991 to do obviously the IRS gimmick later in 91 for WWF, so he's not here terribly a long time, but he's here for a little while longer and manages to do everything he can do in a simplistic fashion there, and kind of, getting things going in a continual directive here. Um, and again, Michael Wall Street kind of cinching up on chin locks and other basic maneuvers. Wall Street kind of a guy who doesn't really have a lot going on. 3 minutes 30 seconds hits the stock market crash. Prior to the bout, York states that Hart would lose in less than 6 minutes, which she uses a computer to figure out. I guess that's fine, although be it kind of um, a run here. Um, it's it's interesting run and basics along the way. Uh, you know that's kind of moving forward and making things come together there. The stock market crash leading to a victory um, um, for a person who is there, and um, you know, I mean, losing Mike Rotundo at the time, who really didn't have strong promos, might not have been good. The Paul Heyman promo, by the way, if you've never seen it, talking about the sexist nature with women, although it wouldn't play today, is phenomenal heel work for its time period. You have to kind of put it in a time capsule a little bit to be able to get through it, because obviously today it would be considered highly offensive. But at the time, 1991, 30 years ago, while it was offensive, getting heel heat that did offend people was part of the deal. Terry Taylor, Dave Johnson, 416. Taylor beats him with a firearm. Foley dangerously interviews Taylor, who claims he deserves WCW TV title match and isn't happy to be stuck wrestling Ricky Morton at the Clash of the Champions. Taylor not really having clear direction and doesn't really get a bunch of clear direction until he manages to get into the WCW version of the York Foundation. The York Foundation kind of opens him up. He's very basic here, and again, coming off of the time in the WWF, and Taylor probably hired and fired more than just about anybody in the history of the 80s, early 90s, just back and forth throughout his career. Then we go to Ricky Morton not being happy about being dismissed by Terry Taylor. Then we go to Teddy Long's Team of Doom. Doom, of course, Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. They still your tag team champions. They're still aggressive as all get out. Punch kicks, very basic maneuvers. Backbreaker by Simmons. Continues the fight, drops the knee, and ultimately gets to a healthy place there. And again, getting things going in a proper direction here. Missy Hyatt comes out, I'm sorry, not Missy Hyatt. Missy Hyatt's talked about a lot by Paul Heyman throughout the episode, but the Freebirds come out and talk about how Brad Armstrong and Tim Horner are not good enough to face off against them. Also, confrontation between the Renegade Warriors, aka Tribal Nation, and the Horsemen, where the Tribal Nation is mocked by Barry Windham primarily. Tribal Nation comes back, or Renegade Warriors come back, and they are going at it with the Freebirds. Freebirds, of course, are relatively new in the area, and kind of the Freebirds are kind of still trying to do heavy heel work here. A very basic series of maneuvers, and ultimately a simple series of matches here. Nothing necessarily worth checking out, but a very basic match for the Freebirds. Freebirds get a quick win, and that will close us for today.